Woo!
we are.
Here we are. Awesome.
Maybe.
Welcome to the broadcast, everyone, and people that have already logged on and are waiting for this. It's good, Pete. We're I don't want to jinx it, but like every time we do one of these, we do well in the athletic event of the day.
That's true. We haven't had like a negative live yet, I don't think.
Because Phil Scott is joining us tonight as well. He's an expert on all things Southern Miss. I tell you what, so we just finished a live.
No pressure.
We just finished a recording with Jake Winston. So
a really good one, yeah.
If you're watching the feed right now or the stream right now, remember you can go back and listen to the pod. And P, are you gonna put this up on? Are you gonna put that interview up on YouTube?
Yeah. His interview will be on YouTube as well, and it will be on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
So here's the deal, Phil. I called you an expert, and don't worry, because we all make mistakes. And I made a mistake in the intro for Jake Winston. I got everything right, like where he was born, when he graduated high school, got drafted by the Diamondbacks, all of that. And then I called him a left-handed pitcher.
Whoops.
He was like, great intro. Appreciate it. Yes. But I'm a right-handed pitcher. I was like,
yeah, cool. Hey, at least you didn't mispronounce his name like I did.
Yeah.
With whoever that was.
Yeah, I when I got civilly cross, I got that backwards too.
It happens.
We aren't professionals here. We sure do like it. Anyway, so go check that out if you're just watching us right now and you want to listen to that first, 28, 30 minutes or so. He was awesome. Learned a lot about him. He didn't know that we were nominated for Best Podcast in the Pine Belt either, which I'm sure a lot of you don't, but we are. We're in the nomination process. So you can go to Best of the Pine Belt. Patrick, I don't know if you have a link you can provide, but you can go to Best of the Pine Belt and go to the lifestyle section and just scroll down and you'll see Best Podcast, and there's a list of them that you can nominate. When we first got nominated, I think that there's 3.
Yeah, there's like a bunch.
And then there's like 25 or something. So if we didn't win it when there was only 3, our chances are going down. But we also used to push it a lot more to get them to gain the nominations. And I didn't even know it was going on this year until Jamie told us that day. But if we do happen to get nominated, then we will sure push it as hard as we can. And I'm sure we'll come up just short yet again. But it's always fun to at least be mentioned. So what else happened since the last time that we recorded or the last time that you guys saw us on this stream? So basically topics of conversation, if you want to chime in tonight. Baseball ended the season on a good note at the Pete with our last homestand at the Pete, which is always kind of bittersweet for me. Like I don't really want to leave the Roost after a while. I'm watching a lot of the guys out there. This might be their last time. It probably will be their last time, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. Last year we had the Super at the Pete. Who knows if something like that is in store again? We learned that Coach Oz has become the winningest first-year coach in Southern Miss history. That's pretty cool. 3 or 4 weeks into Oz's tenure, I don't feel like people thought that was going to happen, right? But here we are. Hit a milestone with 20 wins in conference play for 8 straight seasons. To the Top Talk hit 10,000 followers on Twitter. There we go.
Yeah.
The all Sunbelt Conference teams were announced. We're going to get into that. And we started off the Sunbelt Conference tournament. And that's where I want to start right now. So just to recap what happened in the game today, if you weren't able to watch, we played at 12:30 versus Coastal Carolina. I don't know about you guys.
1
o'clock?
Yeah. Okay. I logged on at 12:30. I was like, we still had like
I was working during the day. So I was like, I'd flip it on real quick and then wasn't on, so I went back to work, that kind of thing. We got through it, and we ended up winning that game. But were you guys nervous at all that we were playing Coastal Carolina?
Oh, no doubt.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, we're like when we talked to Winston earlier, right? Like they were preseason ranked to win the thing, right? The whole thing. Is that right? Or was it Louisiana?
No, it was us, Troy, and Coastal were the 3 kind of there in the top.
And Texas State was way up there at the top.
Yeah,
as well.
They were too. Yeah, that's right.
I think so.
We did have a question come in, and it actually is for Phil.
Okay.
Phil, you can answer this one.
Well, I only made 25 of the hats to begin with, and getting it to people and shipping has been kind of a hassle. I don't know if I'll make any more, but I'll keep y'all updated. They have been a big hit, though.
Yeah.
Every time we do one of these, I forget to throw my hat on. And Phil's on tonight. Right, straight disrespectful on my part.
Hey, I got the shirt. I went a little attack eagle for you today, Phil.
Hey.
So the Golden Eagles win the game versus the Chanticleers 5-0 today. It was really kind of, it was very tight for the longest time. No score through 7 innings. Billy Oldham is up there just doing his thing. He was a dude, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks, 105 pitches. That's just crazy. That's just crazy numbers from a non-overpowering pitcher, right? Isn't it? I mean, that's Nick Stanlin type stuff. That's Tanner Hall. Not that Tanner was a super flamethrower either. Maybe it is kind of like Tanner Hall-ish, if you wanted to. Or as the announcers on TV today said, Tanner Hill.
Yeah, well, they also called us Ole Miss in like the first inning.
Oh, I heard that. And he qualified it pretty quick. He was like, go ahead, roast me, my bad.
But he didn't put his Twitter account out there. That I was like, come on, say it, because you would have got lit up by all the burners.
No score through 7. Coastal doesn't score in the top of the 8th. Southern Miss spits up a 5 spot. Mows down Coastal in the 9th, and that was ball game. Wilkes got the scoring going with a double to left field, extended that streak. 2 RBIs. McIntyre and Broadus scored. Nicky Ballgame comes up. Homers to center field. That ball was crushed. To that point, I wasn't sure you could hit a home run in the park.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was possible to get a ball over the fence. Because there was some confusion on Slades, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It I was like, that ball's out. And then I saw the replay, and it there's this fence area and then like a walkway, and then the line was above that, and the ball definitely hit below like the yellow line for a home run.
Gotcha.
But in real speed, I was like, what are we doing? Like the graphic on the TV was like home run, and then you could tell by the way the players were going that obviously on the field it wasn't ruled a home run. But yeah, when I went back and looked at the replay, it definitely hit below the line. But in real time, that's a tough call to make.
Hey, PLo.
That was a 3-run shot. Go ahead,
Paul said he can only hear you. He cannot hear anybody else.
Really? Huh.
He just texts me.
Let's see.
I'm not sure what he's on, though. I don't know if he's on.
Yeah, he's on the space. He should be able to hear everybody. Hold on. Oh, okay. I know what I did. Sorry about that. All these people on the Twitter space, and they're just hearing me. I feel sorry for them. Sorry.
Just talking to yourself.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Now, last time I forgot to plug the thing in. This time I forgot to connect via Bluetooth. We should. Let's see.
Phil, you want to check with your boy and see?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Okay. All right, here's everyone. Great. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
So, again, for all of you that did not hear what I said, we're going to do a real quick recap. This is only like live episode number 4 or 5. So, anyway, just real quick, if you want to chime in tonight, you can chime in with whatever you want. Phil Scott is here with us. He is also the Attack Eagles Twitter or X handle. So you can that's the guy. You're looking at his face right there. You can talk about the last homestand at the Pete. That was super fun. Talk about Coach Oz being the winningest first-year coach in Southern Miss history. You can talk about the all Sunbelt Conference teams that were announced and how the tournament started off today. As I've already mentioned, but now more people will be able to hear it, that if you're listening, if you're watching the stream right now, we had Jake Winston on for our pre-live show recording. So you can go back, and when the pod drops tomorrow, you can listen to the pod and have all the audio from Jake and then all of this stuff. Or you could go to YouTube and you can watch our 28 or 30 minutes, whatever it was, with Jake that we had. He killed it. It was super fun. Learned a lot about him. He's a good dude. Cattle farmer. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew?
Right? Doesn't when you see Jake Winston, I don't think you think cattle farmer, but he does it, and good dude, father, coach, So anyway, go back and listen to that, and then the other thing we're going to talk about was the game today. Of course, Southern Miss wins the game 5-0. No score through 7. Southern Miss puts up a 5 spot. And then the ball game was pretty much over after that. Wilkes got the scoring going with a double to left field, scoring 2. Then Monastir homers to center field as a bomb, knocked in 3. But the story of the day was Billy Oldham, right? So 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks on 105 pitches. That's legendary. And then Colby Allen shut it down after that. 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs, no walks, 2 Ks. He's turned into just he needs like a Trevor Hoffman or a Mariano Rivera walk-up song.
Yeah.
Like when he gets the ball, dude, it's over, right? But Phil, I guess I'll start with you. Talk about Billy today on the mound. Was there any doubt in your mind he was going to get the ball on short rest? Did you think Mazza could possibly be the guy? Talk about Billy's performance.
No, I knew it was going to be Billy all the way. Ever since he's switched over to the ace, we've kind of been – he sets us up for the whole week or weekend. He pitches 7 innings. Normally goes a little bit longer than Mazza. I'm just glad we backed him up because we've let him down a few times with the bats this year, like Lafayette and other times when he's absolutely shoved. And I was afraid that we were going to do it again today. And Colby actually got the win because we hadn't scored. So he actually has an 8-2 record, and Billy only has a 7-2 record because we didn't score. But no, I have all the confidence in the world in Billy. That dude can shove. He don't throw necessarily hard, but he has good command of everything. And I'm just glad that he saved the bullpen, and Colby came in and saved it, and now we're set up pretty.
Sometimes he just looks like he's toying with the hitters up there,
Yeah.
Like his 90-91 appears to be 97 with how late some of the hitters are, right? And it all he's just one step ahead. I don't know if it's Oz, I don't know if it's Billy, I don't know if it's a combination of both, but my dude can pitch, and it's so fun to watch him pitch. PLo, what about Colby Allen? Talk about, I guess, just his maturation through the year. I don't know if any of us saw him stepping into this role.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, earlier in the year, I think like Phil said, we had a lot of outings where we had really solid starting pitching and really kind of fumbled getting the last couple of innings. And we just kind of couldn't find that guy in the bullpen to kind of go to. And even Oz was kind of struggling at times in the year to kind of find like who is going to be the most reliable person. Like we would go to Sibley, we would go to all these different people, but and kudos to Oz to kind of like keep trying different options throughout the season. I mean, he definitely went top to bottom up that lineup to give if you didn't have it, you came out quickly. And so, yeah, I mean, this time of the year, and we talk about it, every year, but like you got to have somebody that like when they come in, they're, a Storm or, whoever, a Sandlin or whoever it is, like you got to have that person that you can rely on when your starter's up. We got a lead. It may be a tight ball game, but you need somebody to get outs. And I love his attitude on the mound. Like, to me, it reminds me of like Nick Johnson back on that like 2016, 2015 team. Like he was one of my favorite people to take pictures of because like he would show so much emotion getting that third out. And like, that's the kind of photos like I was always looking for. And like you kind of get that big strikeout late in the game. And, when there's only 6 outs that we need to get, every out matters. And, when you get those big outs to kind of like show that's what I love about freaking Matthew Russo. Like, dude shows energy and he just gets people going. And I mean, you can't get fired up for your team, especially when like we were struggling early with the bats. Like we needed every ounce of spark. We were getting it from Billy, but like offensively, we were needing it. And so Slade steps up, gets that hit, you know, and then gosh, freaking Monastery hit a ball that may have not landed yet. Like just unreal. What a game.
Hitting wise, 5 hits on the day for USA. You know, we did an awful lot of talking there. And I'm like, we had 5 hits, right?
Yeah.
But so and we're going to mention every damn one of them because they're all big. So Wilkes 1 for 4, 2 RBIs on that double. Monastery 1 for 3, 3 RBIs on that bomb. Then McIntyre, Russo, and Stockman all with hits. And I remember that Russo hit in particular
Shot
was, I think it was like first pitch. He was like, you know what? You aren't getting it by me. I'm just going to get on base. And he also had another hit way out to the wall. Well, it wasn't a hit. It was caught where Monastery, I don't really blame him for the aggressiveness. Yeah. But the guy made a great play. Like, you'll see great teams do, right? This is, I mean, the Sun Belt is listed as the 5th toughest, or the 5th RPI league or whatever. So if you want to call it the Power 5, I mean, if you're going to use those terms, we don't like it, but that's where it is. That's what the numbers say. And that's what good teams do. You have to play your best to win, and we saw a lot of that today. The Stockman double was another great hit. But at the end of the day, I just thought it was 2 good teams in a battle, and I was very nervous right there at the end. Yeah, I think about going back to the beginning of the year and trying to figure out who was going to be the guy in which spot, and what kind of team we're going to have, and to see how Oz has fit all these pieces together. Doesn't there have to be some serious just props, right? Given up to Oz for how this is all just the puzzle pieces that fit. Does that make sense? Phil, let me ask you a quick question. Since you're also an athletic trainer, Colby Allen threw 2 innings today. Can he? I mean, would you, in your experience? I mean, can he throw tomorrow? Can he throw 2 tomorrow?
He only threw 25 pitches today, so he should
25 pitches total. So he should be good.
He should be. I think that's what somebody said. I didn't look at it. Somebody said in one of the group messages 25. But if he only threw 25, then we pretty much have everybody but Billy. I was going to make that point. I forgot to say that earlier. So I think we pretty much have everybody available. I don't know if he goes tomorrow. I actually have a question somebody sent me about what do we think about, since we only use those 2, what we will do pitching wise from here on out. Like, what do we think about like tomorrow, and like who comes out first and all that? I don't know if y'all have any thoughts on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be like
24 pitches.
24. Close.
I think it's going to be business as usual tomorrow. You hope Mazza goes for a while.
Yep.
Take Best or Colby. I mean, Cross out first probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I see.
I'll tell you, Ben Riley. We have another lefty, Ben Riley Flowers, can freak, and JB found it too. So I mean, you got everybody.
I could see Ben Riley coming in as a starter in Game 3.
Ooh,
you don't think Boswell?
I was going to get to that.
I don't know. Either one.
Boswell's been giving you 2 or 3, and that's all you really need. And you got to think about, if you stay in the winners bracket, it's basically, if you stay in the winners bracket, it's 4 games like a normal week. You got 3 games and a midweek, and you just piece it together just however it goes.
Well, I think the biggest point here that you guys have made is that we only use 2 pitchers on a day. I mean, how many did Louisiana use? 6?
Yeah, I don't know. They got spanked. I don't know.
Right. Which, I mean,
even Coastal, they're in the losers bracket, obviously, but they used 5. You know, like they had.
And that was their second game. Which, you know, I think that's almost kind of an advantage. In maybe not so much in baseball, but I know in basketball. I remember when we had to play South Alabama, and we had to buy the first round, but they had already played a game, right? So they were used to the gym. They were used to the whole deal. And we ended up losing that game. I thought it was an advantage, but I do feel like that might have been an advantage for Coastal, at least for the beginning of the game. Just they've already been out there. They had already played on the field. They had already just gotten the jitters out or whatever, you know. But it's good that if you're looking for a bigger advantage, I mean, Southern Miss using minimal pitchers has to be there.
And before we get too deep, I do want to remind people, if you do want to join us on the live, if you have something to say and feel free to join the Twitter space and request to us that you want to speak, and we'll throw you up there.
I got one more comment on the game before we move on to
do it.
Talking about catches. D-Mac's catch to start the night where they couldn't rally going right there was crucial, because I thought that was a bomb right there, 2-run bomb, momentum shift. Like, that was huge.
Well, that was big. And do you remember the play at shortstop with Pratt, where it kind of took a high hop, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been those two plays. When you had to have plays made, Sudden Miss made them. Right.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like, I know I was in the gym at the beginning part of the game and listening to John Cox and Jack. And one thing they kept talking about was, everybody's been talking about D-Mac and his bat, obviously, all season, but his defense, man, just doesn't get enough. Even John said on the broadcast, I think, that there had been a lot of balls this season off the bat where he thinks, oh, that's a shot in the gap, and like he just flies over there and gets it. And I don't know if y'all saw the screenshot of like D-Mac going up to get that ball. And I loved how quickly he came down and just absolutely heaved that ball back.
He's a cannon too.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he's got a big arm.
So we need to. There's kind of an elephant in the room here, is that Carson Pato did not start.
Yeah,
we've all saw the bandages, and we've all, I think, are privy to a little bit more info than we should probably know. So we can't really divulge all of it, but so again, you're an athletic trainer, right? So you saw the bandages. Do you what do you think? And we also saw video. I think Sam Sklar posted a video of him playing catch. So I think he can do that. And maybe this is all precautionary, because let's just be honest, even though we want to win the tournament, we're going out there and try to win the tournament. We're still in a regional no matter what. But what's up with Tuna? Butler, some people forgot he was even on the team. He hadn't played in so long with the Tuna.
I saw somebody post that on Twitter. I can't take credit for it, but I did bust out laughing. Tuna rap.
But so Butler was in there with the. I guess he still has the sports hernia.
Yeah.
And you got me to thinking, like, what else can you do? I didn't get to watch a ton of it. I was listening to a lot of the games, so I didn't get eyes on Butler as far as what he looked like running.
He didn't run any because he struck out, I think, all 3 times, I think. So, well, he grounded out the first time, then he struck out the next 2, I think.
Yeah.
He looked okay running, but I mean, he just kind of, it was like a easy.
Yeah, it was definitely some rust, some rust there, but like there were moments early when we were struggling offensively. It seems like Tuna a lot this season has kind of been that spark to kind of get that big hit into the gap. And I was thinking, gosh, I really miss him. And then luckily it worked out. But we do have a request, but if y'all want to go ahead and take that, or
sure.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. This is Mason King.
Hey, Mason.
He gets connected. Let's see. All right, Mason, you should be good to go.
Hey, Mason.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we can.
All right. Thanks for doing these, by the way, guys. Love them.
Oh,
thank you for tuning in.
Always interested to listen. Yeah, every time, man. If y'all go live, I'll be here. I love talking USM baseball. It's my favorite topic in the entire world. Just have a couple of quick thoughts. Thought the guys played amazing today.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. We're real blessed as a fan base that it seems like every year we figure it out at the end of the year and we play our best baseball at the end. And that's just an amazing place to be at as a program. And I'm glad to see that continued under a new regime this year. And I fully agree with your comments earlier. You got to give Oz all the credit in the world for figuring it out, because this wasn't an easy season to figure out.
No, a lot of people to replace.
Right. Last year we knew, right? There's no experimenting to do really outside of a couple of positions. We knew who our guys were. We were a veteran team. This year has not been that. There's been some growing pains, but man, we're fun to watch right now. And I'm going to be a Cross Sibley apologist. I know in our fan base there's some split feelings on Cross, but I'd like to point out that in conference play, for pitchers that have pitched at least 11 innings, Cross Sibley has the best ERA on our team at like 3.8, I think.
Wow.
Cross has just been nothing but amazing. He's a workhorse for us, and He's going to play a big part in this postseason run. And I think we're really well set up to go deep into this tournament this week. And I will also say it's really great and refreshing to see Slade Wilkes hitting his peak at the end of the year, because I don't think we've had that with him.
Yeah, and I think we said a lot of times throughout the season, like, I think our offense goes as Slade Wilkes goes, and obviously we saw
100%.
We saw it today.
I'm going to take it a step further. I've loved Slade since we signed him. I wasn't
100%
sure if he could be the dude, right? I wasn't positive if he could be the guy that we had to have that could put you on his back like a Wallner did, or like a Trey Sutton did back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Or a Hoffpower, like Winston was talking about earlier. Boy, I was wrong, right? Well, I mean, but seriously, we knew he had just unbelievable power, and just nobody can hit it further. And he's just so strong and such a good dude, and all of those things. At the same time, until I don't know a month and a half ago, he had just been kind of like that guy that can just hit it really far.
It's the power of the fathead.
But he has just turned into just hell. He got sacked this year at one point, right? There was a game
for a couple games,
yeah. So, and even somebody that can come back from that. That's another thing that Oz has done so well. And while you're on the line, Mason, I want to get your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah.
So
sure.
what we were just talking about Tuna, and we're talking about Butler in the DH spot. He can't really run. Slade's in the outfield, but he's been prone to injury. I mean, I was thinking about this, but what about going back to Slade in the DH role, going Seth Smith at second base, and you got Nicky Ballgame who can play any damn where. Do you put him in the outfield along with Gillespie? Like, do you have any thoughts on what could possibly happen there? Because something might have to be done if Billy can't run.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So we've kind of got a blessing and a curse. So we've got like three guys that could be the DH, but all three of them have question marks for me. Like it could easily be Billy Butler, right? Like if Billy Butler can get back to any semblance of normalcy, right? And like he didn't really have power outside of the first couple of weeks. He got banged up after that, and like his power disappeared. But he's been a 300 hitter the whole year. You have to think if you give him a few at bats this weekend, he's going to get back to that. It just seems like that's where he's going to hover. He's got decent plate discipline. Obviously today he looked awful, but I can't hold that against him. He hadn't had a meaningful at bat in 2 months.
Sure.
Seth Smith's another one. He looked great early in the year, and then he got hurt. He's kind of flailed since then. You have to think one of those two guys can be the guy for you, right? So Butler has more upside at the plate, but I think our defense is probably a little better with Seth Smith. Not that there's anything wrong with Nick. Nick's been playing phenomenal second base. Just I have questions about Slade in left field or right field rather. I think defense is probably better with Nick in the outfield. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hate on Slade. I'm a Columbia guy, born and raised. I love Slade Wilkes. Know his whole family. No better people on the planet. And that guy's an oak tree that we're going to miss sorely when he's gone, as far as our lineup's concerned.
No doubt.
But every time the ball gets hit to right field with him out there, I clench up a little bit.
And he just hadn't done a whole lot.
Smith at second yeah, absolutely. And, maybe you give him 5 or 6 games, I wouldn't feel that way. He certainly hasn't looked as bad this year as he has in years past when he played the field. That's for sure.
I tell you, my biggest thing with Slade is that he's so all out all the time. I'm afraid he's just going to injure himself by just going 1,000%, right? Ease up every now and then.
There's no throttle. There's no throttle on that kid. If he's on that field, he's giving you 110%, even on plays that he shouldn't.
Yep.
He got hurt last year sliding into first base in a game that we were winning 8-0 against ULM. It's just who he is. I don't think you can cut that part of him off.
And at this point,
that's part of why we love him.
At this point, we can't have him do that.
No.
So if we can limit the amount of times that he has where he can, run 300 miles an hour into an outfield wall, let's limit that, right? Let's just limit that.
Sure.
Yeah, that's one thing.
And he's a great DH. Look, that's not easy to do. A lot of guys can't you sit on the bench and you're sitting there. You got to get up and hit. I think it's easier to play a position where you're kind of in the game the whole time. So mindset wise, I think he's got the DH thing wrapped too.
Yeah, Slade scares me in the outfield because of the injury thing. Y'all talking about the hit streak and how well he's hitting. Creel said this is the first year in his career that he's been healthy the whole entire season.
Yep.
So that we're seeing it.
That's very
seeing it. He's had a knee injury, I think he's battled with, a hand injury, shoulder surgery after one season.
Yep.
A lot of that's in the outfield because I think he played several years ago in the outfield when we had some injuries out there and he got hurt. But he has looked better. He gunned somebody out that one weekend when
Sure did.
He did.
Right there in front of us.
Laser beam. Yeah.
I can't remember who was out. The reason
it was
McIntyre
and
when Mac was out. When D-Mac
oh,
was
that's
out.
right. Yep.
But I was thinking about that too earlier.
Ultimately, you have to hope.
No, I was thinking about it earlier too. About y'all were talking about the sub and out and stuff. If Billy can't find it, I was thinking too doing Seth out in second because he's going to be a dude here before it's over with, and he would be one of our main dudes if he wouldn't have got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Nolan Tucker that never really found his groove because he got hurt and he hit well, but he's never found it. That's two guys I think would be very good defenders. But the only thing I do like Nick where he's at, he just plays with he's just such a leader and such an energy guy there for us. 100%. Like he's just like they haven't even moved him to third. They've been playing Seth at third when Seth does play. So like I feel like Nick's just if they can help it, they don't want to move him from second base just because of the way him and Russo and the infield are just the energy guys that just kind of keep us going.
And also, I mean, I don't think it's any mistake or any coincidence that when Nick finally kind of started hitting the ball like we all knew he could, so he stopped bouncing around, right? He started the year in center field.
Yeah. No, definitely that had to play into it, yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially because he didn't take any balls in the offseason in the infield, right? Like he practiced all fall ball, all spring ball playing outfield. And then have to get shoved back into the infield after not taking any
summer league too,
I believe. Yep,
right.
Absolutely.
They wanted to play him in the outfield too because of possibly pitching this year too. They said they wanted to save his arm some, but we haven't needed it. Well, we might need it. I thought at one point we might need it. We kept losing arms, but we seem to have found it now. But I think that was one of the reasons they had him in the outfield to begin with.
Cool.
You know what's crazy to me about Nick Monaster too is his average is he's only hitting 250 this year, right, in conference games, which isn't what we hoped we would get from him. But he also has the second most RBIs on the team. So even though his average is on the lower side of the team, the guy just comes up clutch in big moments. Just ice water for blood. I love Nick Monaster. Great guy.
Nicky Ballgame.
I'll shut up and I'll let you guys talk. Yep. Nicky Bags, baby. I'll hop off here and let you guys get back to it. But thank you all
Mason,
for doing
thanks for
stuff,
joining in and any time, man. You're welcome.
Yep. Y'all be good.
We did have another request that's been waiting a little while as Mason was talking with us. So I do want to go ahead and kick it over to Chuck Hannock. Let's see. I'm going to add you in.
Hey, Chuck.
Chuck, go ahead. Okay, he's muted. There we go. Oh. Okay, maybe he doesn't want to talk. Chuck, if you do want to talk, I can make you a speaker, so request again. If not, we'll keep rolling.
Okay, hey, so...
Okay, Chuck's out.
Okay, Chuck's out. So look, Phil, and let's talk real quick, or not real quick, if you can get as long-winded as you want. You're the expert on the tournament. It's one of the main reasons that I wanted you on here. So do you have...
The only reason.
Do you have the stuff? Well, because you're always telling us all. Basically everything that I know, I'm just stealing what you tell us on text messages and writing it down, and I say it on the show. So I don't know if you have the tournament right there in front of you. Everybody's played, but who has played so far? I mean, Southern Miss got in as the 2 seed, but there's 2 single elimination games to get into the double elim tournament. So get everyone caught up on who has played so far. What do the brackets look like? And kind of what's the path for Southern Miss moving forward, whether we win or lose?
All right, so you had yesterday. It came down to the wire, by the way, to get the last spot. Texas State, if they would have beat us, they would have been in. But Georgia State stole that last spot. Them and Coastal played yesterday. Mm-hmm. That was the 10 versus the 7. Had Georgia State won, we would have played the winner of Old Dominion and South Alabama, but Coastal won, so that's who we got. And Old Dominion won against South Alabama, and that's who Lafayette got.
Hate that.
So yeah, hate it for them. Sucks to suck. So Georgia State and South Alabama are home now. So now it's the double elimination time. So us and Coastal played. We won, so we're in the winners bracket. And then Troy beat App State in a thriller earlier today that came down to the wire.
6-5, right? I think.
Yes, it was 4-0. Same guy for App had two run bombs. It was 4-0, and then one inning they had a no hitter going. In one inning, Troy dropped 6, and one inning went in 6-5.
He was six runs on 6 hits, I think.
Yes. So I literally text somebody and said they have a no hitter, and then the next pitch the dude hit a home run. I was like, well, here we go.
Dang.
So,
thanks for showing up, Phil.
So we'll have Troy tomorrow at 4, and App State and Coastal will play at 9, I believe, for losers bracket. So the loser goes home.
There's a game going on right now, right?
Yes, Georgia Southern is winning 6-2 on James Madison.
Yeah, looks like it's the bottom of the
Old
fourth.
Dominion upset Lafayette, so Lafayette's in the losers bracket. So they lose one more, they hit the road too. Which Lafayette and us are pretty much locks to get in the tournament before we came in. Our RPI is 31 right now. Lafayette is sitting at 32. Coastal 35, James Madison 43, and Troy 52. That's kind of the ones that were all projected to be in, us 5. Troy and Coastal probably need to do some work. Just even though Coastal's RPI is good, they finished 7th in the conference, so they do probably look at that type of stuff. Yikes. So they probably need to win a few, and since we beat them, they don't need to go 1-2, or I don't know. They may get in their 80s on the committee, so who knows. But that's pretty much where we're at now. Georgia Southern, it's only the bottom of the 4th right now. It's 6-2, so there's a long way to go in that one. But we will play. If we can win tomorrow, we won't play again until Saturday, and that's what you want to do. Then you have to get beat twice on Saturday not to make the championship.
And
like we did last.
Last couple of years, we've lost that second game, right?
We won last year. We beat James Madison.
No, I think we lost the second game last year.
No, I know because we lost.
Sure?
I mean, yes, we beat James Madison, beat Troy. And then we played App State Saturday morning because I talked Emily into go, and I was like, there'll be only one game we'll win and be the championship game. And then we lost, and we went to 2 games, and she was pissed. And all day at the ballpark. I know very well. We lost. We beat App. We lost to App and beat App. But then we beat Lafayette the next day and all.
Okay.
But so you want to make it to Saturday. You don't want to play Friday and get in that loser bracket because that's when our pitching could get kind of
and that's scary. That's the next place that I wanted to go. So whether we win, if we,
you're frozen.
Yeah, we lost him. Hang on. The beauty of going live and Bump's dial-up internet.
It's a very good frozen spot there with us.
It is. And again, while we're waiting, if you do want to go live with us and you want to speak, join the space and request to speak. We'll get you on there.
I was going to say, when he gets back, how much do we, if we do lose, how much do we sell out? At this point we're in, like, I mean, you want to win the tournament, but at this, I mean, how much do you really want to sell out and burn arms? Because at the end of the day, we're in, and next week is what matters.
Yeah.
It matters, but
no, I mean, it's a catch-22. Like, I feel like either way,
you gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm just glad I'm not the one that has to make that decision. Because I swear there are teams out there that do that. Like, it'd be nice to win, but like, we're not gonna. Especially I feel like if you lose the first one, or maybe the second one, like you get into that winner's bracket or that loser's bracket, like it's a lot of work. You got to beat somebody twice usually. There's a lot of games in there where, is it valuable to burn through arms like that?
Like if you're Coastal, I guess we play. If you win all the way out, you play 4. I guess it depends on when you lose. Like we played 5 last year. Coastal would have to play 6 to win the whole thing now, or they played 6, or no, they were in the single elimination. How many? Maybe I don't know how many games that is.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look at it, but that's a lot of arms.
Welcome back.
If we had beat Texas State and had a chance to win this, we would be on the bubble of hosting. Then I would say sell out, but I don't think there's any way to get the RPO up now. So try to win it, but
yep.
Okay, so right
go
now,
ahead with your question.
My
computer
computer rebooted.
Oh, classic.
So that's live. That's never happened before. I don't remember what I was talking about.
You were talking about pitching.
Okay, so okay. So if we win or if we lose. So if we win, we play Saturday. What happened? So when do we play if we lose?
If we lose tomorrow, we play Friday at 9 a.m.
Does either one of those scenarios change who you throw to start?
We don't have a third guy, so I don't really. I guess you just go with what you've been going with. That's why I was just talking to him when you were frozen.
Uh-huh.
How much do you sell out at this point? Because like RPI is what it is. You're probably in. You have no chance of hosting. I don't think, even if you win the tournament. Like last year, they said we won the tournament, we'd host, and we still got screwed. So I don't really know what you do.
Sure.
I mean, I guess you just stick with what you know and just figure it out from there and see how it goes. But then I don't know, if you win, you have to win twice on Saturday to get in the championship. So that's 3 more games.
Basically. Yeah, so basically the question is like, how much do you sell out if you drop a game tomorrow? If you drop tomorrow's game, and you get to the losers bracket, do you want to burn through everybody to get this conference championship, or would you rather? I don't see us not trying to win the conference championship, but I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. Jason.
Well, I mean, I don't think I throw Nico like 140 pitches or anything. You know?
Right. Yeah.
But no, it's gonna be interesting. But like Phil brought up Flowers earlier. I mean, that's a power lefty that if he can find it, and of course JB, he's got the most electric stuff on the team.
Really,
if he can find it, I mean, if those two guys in particular can find it, that's number one is something that we really haven't had the entire season.
Yeah.
And before Allen stepped into that closer role, we tried to make JB that guy. He looks like the guy, and he everything but the results are it, right? So if he can, man, you talk about two difference makers. If they can possibly put it together, it's two guys that could be ones, right?
Right.
That we could have deep into a tournament. So
we did have another request. James, go ahead.
James.
Hey, boys.
Hey, James.
What's up?
How is everybody doing?
Great.
Pretty good.
Fine.
You're on a short leash, James. Go ahead.
You what now?
Go ahead. What you got?
I'm on a leash.
Yep.
Oh. Okay. I just wanted to know, what do you boys think about the prospects of playing a dead president again in the championship game? Because I'm worried it's going to come to that.
It could be a possibility.
At this point, I would just like to make it to the championship game. And if it's a dead president
but they're a good ball club.
I may jinx it, but they're getting their tail spanked right now. So
yeah, well, George Washington got his tail spanked too on the Delaware, and he eventually made it across.
That's a very good point, James. James, how's your night been going so far?
Boys, it's been good. It's been really swell.
Did you get to watch the game today?
I watched a little bit of it, but the problem is generally I take a nap around 1:30.
That does put a kink in the plans for a midday game for sure. What else you got for us, James?
It does indeed. It does indeed.
We do have some history. History teacher Thomas Hinkle did note that James Madison was our shortest president. So,
how short was he?
Our shortest president. Well, the thing is, you know what they say about short people? They make it up in other places. So I just think they make it up on the dot. Because I tell you what, them boys play historically well.
He was 5'4". Wow.
Dang.
Cool. Well, thanks, James.
We appreciate you joining.
Yes. I didn't want to be on the leash, but I appreciate it.
All right, anytime, James. Thanks.
Let's
Your
talk
boys are the
projections.
best.
Thanks, James. Yeah, so let's talk projections for a second. I've seen this projected in I mean, of course, look, we're trying to win the conference. I don't want to downplay that, but let's just be honest. It's if we lost the next couple, it's just not the end of the world for us.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I would love to win the tournament back-to-back years. That would be fantastic. But if we were to lose the tournament and make it to Omaha, it just is what it is. So, but as far as the projections go, I've seen Fayetteville, I've seen Athens, I've seen Lexington, I've seen Tallahassee. Phil, you follow this way more closely than anybody I know. Where do you think we're going to end up? I've seen Starkville, right?
I don't know what the score is right now. If State wins today against A&M, they will probably be hosting it. And that's probably where we'll go because the committee just can't help themselves but to send us to freaking Starkville or Oxford. I don't know. State probably is one of the more winnable if you look at that type thing because they're probably like Auburn last year, lower. I was telling somebody the other day, it's not that I'm scared of State, but teams like State and LSU and Florida that are used to being in the tournament every single year scare me more than I know Georgia's really good this year, but Georgia hasn't been relevant in baseball. They would have just as much pressure or more pressure than we would go in there because they haven't been in that moment as much. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel like they'd have just as much pressure and we would be just as confident because, yes, we're young, but we have guys that's been there. Our program's been there the last several years. There's certain teams just know how to win in the postseason, and we're learning how to do that the last few years. And there's just some people I just kind of want to stay away from.
I just think that it hurt my feelings more if we went to Starkville and we didn't make it out.
Yes.
If we went to Georgia and we didn't make it out, I'd be like, you know what? First year with Oz, had a great year, probably overachieved a little bit. But if you go to State and you do the exact same thing to a very similar team, it would just make me feel worse.
Yes.
So
I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I know we don't talk SEC stuff on here, but it is relevant into the conversation tonight. But that tournament is kind of drunk this year. Like every bottom seed has won.
I'm almost convinced they're doing it on purpose to make sure they get 11 teams in.
That's true. That's true.
Because Florida freaking lost yesterday to Vandy, got spanked, and they're barely over 500. And they're like they still deserve to get in because they played all these good teams. But they freaking lost the games. But they're well, they played all these good teams. Like what the heck? We have to freaking grind it out and win 40 games a year in one of the 5 best leagues, and it's still we were on the edge a lot of times this year. I mean, granted, sometimes we probably deserve to be on the edge, but could you send us to UK? Hinkle. Actually, wouldn't mind. Kentucky's really good this year, but they're kind of in that category of they ain't been there either as much. So, and their stadium's
have you guys been to a bunch? Have you been to the new dude?
I have not.
I haven't either. It looks really cool. I mean, I really enjoyed myself at Auburn last year, and it's kind of easy to say that after we won it. But the whole town, the whole entire thing,
we got to talk about that again.
The bartender, ended up he's a huge Auburn fan, ended up coming and hanging out with us, right? Anyway, it was just I had a great experience in Auburn, and that hasn't happened with me in SEC territory very much. So even though I have a lot of high school friends that graduated from Mississippi State, I'm sure I can go hanging out with them. What, in your opinion, I guess, Phil, what would I have as good a time as I had last year in Auburn? Say we ended up,
I've been to the last few years. I went to LSU, and though LSU was gave us fits when they hear on social media, LSU respected the crap out of us. All their fans, when we battled them in 19, the big Grand Slam and all that stuff, they after the games were we don't want y'all to ever come back here again. We respect y'all. Went to Auburn, they respect us. But when we go to Ole Miss and State, it don't matter. They know we're good, but they're still never going to respect us. They're never going to be whatever. They're just that way because they think they're better than us just because they're in the SEC, even though they normally don't win crap. They did the two the two natties, whatever. But I will say State's normally pretty good in baseball, prominent. Ole Miss got lucky that year. I will say that, but they'll probably come after me now. But The other SEC teams, a lot of times, they're cocky, and at the end of the day, they kind of like can say, "Y'all are a really good baseball program. Respect us." The two in our state will never say that.
No,
ever.
yeah, we'll always
Never.
be little brother
good
to
point.
them, no matter what.
Sure.
I have tons of state friends. I grew up a state fan. My whole family went there, and I just can't stand them anymore. Cannot stand it. Like they just they can't give any respect.
This is a really good question. I actually had this question when I watched, but did you guys see this?
Why did we pinch run for Stockman just to put Odom behind the plate?
I thought it was interesting. They pinch hit, or they pinch run the guy that he was the only extra base hit we had right at that point, right when he like the first.
Yeah, I think they did it for speed for like in case of pass ball. But if you're going to do that, I don't know why they didn't do it when he was at second. When he was on second,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know why you wait till third, and it was already we bunted, and then do y'all think he could have went home on that? On the bunt, the dude looked at third, but like, I don't know. Like, do you chance it? Like, you haven't got anybody that close all game. Like, I feel like I would chance it. Like
you do for sure.
Like,
and also if I was Slade at first base,
yes,
I on one of those two dirt balls that hit in front of the plate, I'd be gone. Right,
chance.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. That catcher got a hose. Bodine, whatever his name is. He had a cannon. He's a really good player.
And I get it if you get out and then something happens right after that. Everybody's like, "Why'd you do it?" It's just like anything. If you call a certain play and it don't work, if it does work, everybody thinks you're a genius. If not, you're terrible. So I get it, but I don't know. I think I'd have chanced it.
Eagle Ball has chimed in. Starkville is the worst town in the state. Don't get your hopes up.
Yeah, don't try to go anywhere after 8 o'clock. Everything closes.
My question would be, I'm sure that the hotel rooms and VRBOs are going to fill up pretty quick. I mean, but there's nothing like, where else do you go? Right around there.
Columbus.
Okay, is Columbus pretty big?
Yeah, I mean, it's where Starkville people go to
live,
go to town. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not a bad drive from. It's not too terrible of a drive from. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but I know Birmingham is kind of across the line. So
the next Nugget has chimed in. He said, "But why the worst defensive catcher statistically?" I don't know what statistics you're looking at. I know that Odom, as far as like what throwing people out, I guess I would go along with that. But I'm not privy to all the splits that they look at, but I do know that a lot of the Odom gets a lot of strikes called that aren't strikes, right? And that's a stat that they look at.
Energy.
I have no problem with Odom going back there at all. Mm-hmm. I like all three of our guys. We talked about that a week or two ago. Like all
three bring something different to the table.
A little something different, right? And it's a good thing we're kind of doing hindsight as 2020 after a win, which is true Southern Miss. We won, but we would have won more.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna make a comment earlier when can't remember whoever was on with us. He made a point. We were talking about Oz doing such a good job. It really gets me excited, like how well we figured it out, and then we have guys that are hurt that will be back, but also like we bring back literally everybody but Slade.
Yeah,
like this reminds me of 21 when we're like Dusty and a lot of them were kind of young, figuring it out. We had a lot of new pieces, kind of figured it out after the COVID year, went a little run. The next 2 years were freaking really good, and then we were old. Like I feel like we were set up to do the exact same thing. But we have a couple guys that's also tasted the super and all that can kind of lead us. Maybe we go a little bit farther than we did in 21, depending on how the ball goes our way or not. But we're set up very nicely.
That's a very, very, very good point. Don't ever forget, we've replaced 7 starters and the best pitcher, arguably the best pitcher in the history of the school this year.
I think they said we lost 75% of our production last year, or 70% or something like that. And we are still 2 wins away from 40 wins again for the 8th year in a row.
Yeah,
is that right?
Before we get too deep, I get a shout out to one of our listeners on the Twitter space, Momo. We hear you. Well, we don't hear you, but I see you. If we can hear you, if you want to join us, join us. But shout out Momo, much
Love
love.
to hear from Momo for sure. And it's been around an hour, so we're going to shut this down pretty quick. But sorry for the technical difficulties that we had at the very beginning. That was 100% Patrick's fault. So, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Well,
and
well, yeah,
also we
I tell
apologize
you
for
what,
Jason leaving in the middle of the podcast.
That was not my fault. That was 100% my laptop rebooting
Okay.
right in the middle. So before we wrap up, Southern Miss is ranked. We finally made it into the polls. It's funny how that seems to happen every single year where nobody gives us any credit, and right towards the end where there we are, right? And they're like, hey, we knew you were going to make it. I'm like, no, you didn't, but whatever. It's like if you get ranked in the very beginning of the year, you have to prove that you shouldn't be ranked. Whereas if you don't get ranked, you almost have to prove that they have to prove that the people they thought were good are not, right?
Yeah.
So it's tougher, doubly tougher to get in if you weren't there. Is Momo joining us?
Momo, I think you're here.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey,
How's it going?
there he is.
Mo. Wow.
Welcome.
There he is from Guatemala City.
I was listening this afternoon when Slade hit that bump.
Oh yeah,
Well, it was actually a dolphin, but it seemed like a bump to me on the radio. So
John Cox went crazy.
It looked like it on there. I mean, you literally had to look at it in slow motion to see like where the yellow line was. But it looked like it was smashed.
Yeah,
Momo,
I mean,
where are you right now?
Yep, I'm home in Guatemala.
Awesome.
We're international, baby.
How are things in Guatemala? Bunch of
good.
volcanoes.
It's hot as hell.
It's hot. Yeah, I imagine it. We're hot in Mississippi. It's got to be a lot hotter down there.
Yeah, it's crazy hot. Yeah, but I mean the boys have been doing great. I mean it's been a difficult season so far, but it's incredible how they got it together, and man, they're looking good.
Isn't it crazy, Momo, that as weird as this season has been, Philip, correct me if I'm wrong, I think at this point last year with the exact same record?
I think so, but
it's incredible.
Within a game or two?
Mm-hmm.
And the seasons don't mean you think back to last year and literally being like that close to going to the World Series, having a lead, having Tanner on the hill, and it didn't work out. But to see this team kind of, maybe staring in the face of something very similar, it's remarkable, right?
Yeah.
Momo, who would you start on the mound for Game 3?
Oh man, I wouldn't change much really from what they've been doing this 2-3 last Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky though because I heard you guys. I mean, about not burning arms or anything, but I know Oz. I know how they think, and they're gonna go for it. They're gonna go for winning the tournament, guys. I mean, there's no mistaking that. I mean, they're gonna be throwing everything and anything to try to win the tournament. I know that they're not gonna pull back.
All gas, no brakes.
I think so. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, they got a good chance of doing it. I know it's not gonna be something that they're gonna be able probably to host or anything like we thought we would have last year. Anyway, you guys know it. They screwed us over not hosting anyway. But even if we win it this year, we're not hosting, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so. RPI's at 31. I don't think we can get there. I think last year we were like right at 20 and they didn't let us in. So they gave us a freaking Auburn.
Yeah, but I'm with Bump about Nico not burning Nico with 150 pitches or whatever. So yeah.
Good deal. Well, you know what I wish we had right now. I wish we had some Faruco to be playing with Momo on the line.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, my son is memorizing the lyrics. Like when we get on the golf cart to go ride around, I hand him the phone. I'm like, here, play whatever you want. He plays that song because he remembers when Gabe came at the bat. So it's pretty cool.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, my brother, thanks for calling in, and I hope to see you soon.
Love you guys.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too, my
guys.
boy.
Miss you guys, and I've been checking in on you. So keep it going.
Awesome. We appreciate you.
Let's go get these guys to Omaha.
No doubt.
To the top.
Yes, sir.
All
Thanks,
right.
man.
See you
All right,
guys.
bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Well, how cool was that?
That was awesome.
That's great. We're international.
Wish we had like 5 more sons.
We do.
Yeah.
Momo needs to get to work. You should have brought that up like a minute ago. Phil. Momo, what are you doing on the phone? We need some more.
We need some more kids.
Montenegros.
We need some the pipeline. But yeah, so we are ranked, and that's a good segue. So we are ranked in Baseball America this week or last week, 25th, and D1, the D1 poll, as well as the Perfect Game poll. I love how they all eked us in right there at 25th, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of other teams that would get, like in the coaches poll, for instance. The coaches poll has us at 34th and Ole Miss at 38th. Ole Miss has a losing record.
Okay.
You know, so it's that's
they're
the
done.
coaches poll.
Like, they're literally done.
Yeah, so it's the coaches poll is really. I guess all the polls are weird, but the coaches poll in particular is very, very weird.
We did have one comment earlier about Odom when we were talking about Odom, and we had the question about that. Mason chimed in on the space. He commented and said, Odom has the highest defensive runs saved for catchers on our roster this season. He is great at framing.
Dude, is Mason like in the dugout?
I don't know.
That guy. I
He's
should
on
just
top of
stop
it.
doing research at all. And
We
just say,
should.
Mason, we're going live tonight. Could you send me some stuff? That would be great.
Love it.
Awesome. But no, hey, man, Mason's wonderful. Mason keeps contributing. That was fantastic. You know, speaking of stats, so I have some stats that our guy, stat guy,
Yeah,
USM
hit us with
underscore stats underscore info put out on the Twitter this week. So USM has won 15 of their 20 series versus the Sun Belt Conference since entering. USM has won all 10 Sun Belt Conference home series. Anytime you want to do some applause in there, Pia, it'd be great.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
USM improves to 25-5 in Sun Belt Conference home games, 13-2 in 2023, 12-3 in 2024. Those 2 years continue to mirror each other. Oz has the most wins for a first-year coach in Southern Miss.
There we go.
Today over Coastal means USM has never gone 2-Q in a conference tournament, as we now have a win in every conference tournament played since 1985.
Holy smokes.
For what it's worth, we've never missed a conference tournament. So if you're thinking like, well, there's sometimes you just didn't make it. No, always made it. Never went 2-Q since 85. Phil,
Hey.
what were you doing in 85?
I was
Not existing.
9 years away from being on Earth.
Well, for the record, I wasn't born before then either. So sorry, Bump.
And a couple more. If anybody wants to get in here, you've got a couple minutes because we're going to a few more announcements, then we're out of here. The all Sun Belt Conference teams have been announced. Billy Oldham and Slade Wilkes both make the first team.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Mazza, Ozzie Pratt, and Dalton McIntyre made the second team. Some people mentioned they're like, how did Ozzie Pratt not make the first team? Well, Kyle DeBarge. That's how. That guy's he's incredible, right? He's not that Ozzie's not incredible. He's got plenty of time to do what that guy does, but a little bitty shortstop with a cannon hits like 20 bombs. He's incredible. Player of the year goes to Kyle DeBarge, that guy. Junior shortstop. He says he's a junior, but he will be drafted pretty high. I hope he's drafted super high. So we'll have to see him again next year.
Good riddance.
Pitcher of the year. It's a clean sweep from Louisiana Lafayette. Pitcher of the year, LP Langevin, junior right-hander pitcher. Newcomer of the year, Banks Tolley, senior at App State. Thank God he's gone. He had a bunch of homers. Boo. Freshman of the year, Chase Morgan. This is bad. Freshman left-handed pitcher from Louisiana. So he will be around for a little while. You can give me another boo there if you want. Tony Robichaux, Leadership Award. Sam Blancato, redshirt senior, Georgia Southern. And then Ron, Maestri Coach of the Year is Matt Deggs from ULL. I think that just goes to whoever wins the league.
Yeah.
Right. So getting caught up on a few comments here. Hunter Proc said scuba is where it's at. I'll take your word for it.
Maybe for turkey hunting, like your picture, but that's about it.
Gary P, that was great. He's referring to the Momo thing. Pete Taylor Park Magic said clapping hands. So give me some clapping hands, Pila.
Oh yeah, a little oh, sorry. I'm a little behind here.
There we go. And Wes Nunnery has chimed in. DeBarge is a straight dude. Respect. Yeah, I agree. I like watching him play. I just hope I don't have to watch him play against us ever again because he's really good. If there's nothing else, I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down. Phil, do you have anything else left to say? Did we miss anything? Did we hit on everything that I needed to ask you?
I think we hit everything. I was going to give a shout out to Kendall Rogers from D1 Baseball was there today and wrote an article or wrote some stuff about us.
Mm-hmm.
And the 11.7 podcast, those guys, Jack and Ben, were there today and did some interviews with our guys. Ben's brother actually went to Southern Miss too, so shout out to them.
Cool.
Pretty cool.
Pilo, do you have any shout outs?
Phil, and thanks for coming on. Appreciate that. I appreciate Mason, all your knowledge you dropped on us tonight, and Jake Winston, man, dude was awesome tonight. So like I said, the podcast will be up on that in the morning, hopefully, at least by lunchtime, and the full video will be on YouTube sometime tomorrow as well, so to go check that out.
Awesome. Yeah. Just shout out to everybody that joined in tonight. And sorry about the technical difficulties. We're still trying to iron it out. Pilo has probably got a little bit more editing involved with if you don't, then there's going to be like 8 minutes of just them hearing what you're saying. So shout out to
that has nothing to do with recording. We're good.
Okay, great.
That's just the Twitter space.
This episode brought to you by Mugshots Grill and Bar, where they're always having a good time. Happy hour specials daily, and for a limited time, they're bringing back some of their oldies but goodies. So check them out soon. Go see our good friends at Mugshots in Hattiesburg today. Mugshots, delivering craveable food and personalized hospitality to friends and family in a place obsessed with sports. Thanks for listening in today or watching or whatever you did on whatever day you might have listened, whichever platform you chose to listen in on. Remember, you can follow me at Bumper J. Bailey and Patrick at P. Lowry. Follow us on all social at To The Top Talk. And don't forget about the mailbag. Phil, what's your Twitter?
Eagles Attack or just Chill Phil.
And don't forget about the mailbag to the top talk at gmail.com. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Tell somebody to the top today. And as always, Southern Miss.
To the top. Hey.
Talk.
Why you mad?
Alabama,
USC, or Notre Dame. You have lots of things to offer.